How we doing? We're back here with the Acid Nasty. We're about halfway, um, and so far, yeah. I mean, it gets a little stronger about midway. Feels like you get more of a rich tobacco taste than you initially got. You seem to got quite a bit more of the like I had mentioned more of a like a pine tree, earthy kind of with spice flavors out of the beginning. Whereas now, we're at a point where it's, you're still getting a lot of those flavors, but you seem to get like a lot more of the nice, rich tobacco flavor, which I tend to really enjoy. You're still burning pretty good. It has started to run a little bit down the one side. For anybody that, you can always just kind of lick your finger, kind of wet the one area that's maybe coming short, and then as you smoke it, it'll burn down. You want to make sure you lick the side that that's burning down to where this side's not. And you can kind of even that out a little bit. There we go. Kind of even it out a little bit there by using that little method there. Sometimes you can stop those runs. Now everybody's different when it comes to a cigar. Some people put them out a lot quicker. I tend to try to especially because I like to smoke some of the I'm not going to say higher end, but I don't tend to smoke like the super cheap ones unless I'm somewhere where it's just maybe something I know I don't. It's not something I'm really going to sit and enjoy anyway. And sometimes I'll buy the cheaper ones, but I tend to try to normally take them down, pretty close to the end. But you'll get to a point where it'll start getting kind of hot, getting kind of where it's almost burning your lips. Then that's normally about the key when I would say to probably go ahead and put it out. I mean, that's kind of at your own discretion. It depends on how much you'd really like to keep smoking it. When I get to the middle, I normally tend to take like a two or three hit kind of draw, and like I said before, cigars aren't something you really want to be inhaling. Like I said, you're more apt to probably inhale a little bit, at some point while you're smoking one, but you don't. Most people don't really want to be inhaling cigars, just because of the stronger, richer tobacco than a cigarette would be. And that way you can really taste the flavors. You can really kind of pick up a lot of the flavors that are going on in the cigar, opposed to inhaling. A lot of times you're just going to kind of just be sucking it in through your lungs. You're not going to really pick up on a lot of the tastes. Now this is a little bit of a smaller cigar. It's not quite a full like 6-incher or anything to that matter. Where you have a lot of times you'll get some that are more of a full length, opposed to like the one you saw me light that's was a little bit shorter. It's probably only about a 5-incher maybe. It's which these ones, a lot of times you'll tend to put out a little bit earlier, just because it's not quite, like I said, it's not quite as long. So your midpoint to where you're at a snub, which the end snub is kind of where you're gonna find your points on when you want to be putting it out and when when you're ready to put the cigar out, opposed to continuing to smoke. And this one's, it's getting pretty close. Like I said, I normally take them down here, somewhere down to about right here. You get about, normally my rule of thumb is, I don't tend to want to get anywhere past probably about your pinky snub there. is probably normally about my quitting point. That's normally when I tend to find that they're starting to heat up a little bit too much, where all of a sudden my lips are starting to get kind of hot, and then you're tasting more just, you know, hot smoke than you really are, you know, picking up on the flavors. Because once your lips start getting really hot, you know, you're losing some of those taste buds. Not to mention it's, you know, burning in on some of the tongue too as well. That way and then like I said, your taste buds aren't gonna really pick up on the flavor that you're after. But the one thing I did notice about this one, about the Acid Nasty, is the flavors tend to stay pretty consistent throughout it. Like I said, you get about halfway, it seemed like the tobacco, that the actual rich tobacco flavor really started to stand out a little bit more than it did right at the beginning. But you know, now we're getting down here close to the nub. It's still pretty consistent with where I was at about midway or so. So that's really kind of nice. That's one of the things you kind of tend to find on experimenting with different cigars, on your flavor tastes and things. Some people don't like them. You know, I like the more robust kind of flavors anyway, and that's kind of what this is. Like I said, it's not super strong in that I like as well. You know, I don't like the super strong smoke flavors, but I do, you know, I really enjoy some of the nice thick robust flavors, opposed to, you know, a cigar just being really strong in smoke. And that's why I kind of like this one. And I really do like the fact that, like I said, it tended to stay really consistent through the cigar on your actual flavors. It really seemed to stay pretty consistent throughout the whole cigar, and you know, that's kind of normally your key when you know you got a pretty good quality of cigar. You know, something that actually continues to keep the same flavors throughout the whole cigar. That's pretty close down to the snub here. You know, where I'm probably going to be about time to put it out. You know, so this will pretty much conclude my review of, again, this is the Acid Nasty, and these are pretty good cigars. Definitely one that I like. Some people may not. You know, really a lot of that's going to have to do with your personal interests. It's, like I said, it's not too strong of a cigar, so you know, it's not something even for, you know, beginners, people that are just, you know, maybe diving into trying out cigars a little bit, see if they like them. This is definitely one that, you know, I would have liked when I first started out. So, once again, this is the Acid Nasty. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can come check us out at truetobacco.com anytime. We offer loads of different deals on all sorts of different brands, different flavors. I've got thousands of different kinds of cigars for you to choose from and pick from. And just kind of stay tuned. I'll be going over, you know, a good majority of different acids. We're going to do some punch. Eventually we're going to try to get a good majority of the cigars on some video reviews, kind of give people, you know, a taste of maybe what they are, you know, what they smell like, you know, what the flavors and textures and everything are. Just to kind of give people, you know, a little bit of a heads up on a cigar before they just buy things, rather than, you know, trying anything out. So I hope this was helpful to anyone out there that's smoking cigars. And I'm going to go ahead and take my last few draws here, and we'll check you on the next video.